Hey guys, well here we are in Fusion 360 and today we're going to go over part 2 of the jewelry rack. I was in kind of a rush to get these out because I waited too long to get started, much like everything. I always seem to be in a rush. But today I wanted to go over how I went about designing this because there are a couple of different things that might be beneficial to you. So let's just go ahead and redesign this. So we've got a new design here. We're going to save this as Chris Rack Demo. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to just come up here and we're going to create a sketch. We're going to pick this as our plane. Now the material that I'm going to be using is 1/4 inch aluminum bar, and the dimensions are 3 inches by 8 inches for this particular one. Depending on how many letters you have will dictate the length here, but for this we're going to be using 8 inches. I believe that'll work, and 3 inches. So now we have basic sketch here, and next we're just going to come up here and we're going to put our text. So again, I'm just going to retrace this box here, and that will give me the boundaries for my text. I'm going to type in the name here, and we're going to select our font. Now the default fonts that come with Windows, especially the script, seems to be a little lacking, so I went on the internet, I searched for some free script fonts, and I found one that I thought would work for me. There may be something in here that you like, but the one I'm using here is KS Always a Good Time. Okay, and we're going to make these letters 2.75, and then we're going to see what that, try to center it. So you can see we're clear here, but we're down here, so that's not going to work. We can try to center it in the middle. That helps. We're going to take care of this that overhangs just slightly here in just a minute. I want to give a little bit of room in between each of the letters because we've got to get our end mill in between these. So we're going to stretch this out a little bit. Let's try 5. And that gets us pretty close to the ends there and gives us just a little bit more space in there. So that looks pretty good. We're going to go with that. So we're going to click OK. One thing I wanted to point out is you can't really edit this. I'm going to need to edit this because we have these real sharp areas right here that I don't have an end mill small enough to get in there. The smallest end mill I have is 1.5 millimeters, or about 60 thousandths. So what we've got to do is we need to be able to edit this font or this text here. I want to right click on this, and then I want to hit explode text. Now notice it gives me lines, and now I can come in here and easily edit this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to correct all these little sharp corners. We can try to use the fillet tool to do this, and it works in some areas, and some areas it does not, but we're going to make this as about 80 thousandths if we can. And then we're going to try to get both of those. And of course we can also just go in here with a 3-point arch, and then we can come in here and correct all of these. So we're just going to go through all these different corners here, and we're going to either place an arch or do a fillet to kind of round all these corners off. Once we've got all the corners satisfactory, then we can come in, we're going to press T for trim, and we're going to get rid of these lines here. Alright, going to go back up here for our arch, and I want to smooth all of this out right in here. to make this a little bit more fluid. So what I'm going to do is just trim up this and just go across, and it will trim that. You have to be careful though, because sometimes it trims things we don't want. I'm going to put a little arch in here first, and then we'll come back and a bit more of an arch here. There we go. And now let's try to add an arch in here. Much better. Also, this right here, I want to kind of just smooth this out a little bit, like so. I'm going to go in here and trim this. And then we're just going to keep going along and doing that for all these different junctions here. So I'm going to kind of speed through this, and then we'll show you the next step. Okay, so you can see here we're just a little bit bigger than our material, but that H looks a little tall to me anyway, so we'll just do something like that. And one last thing we need to do is we need to connect the dot for the letter I. So I'm just going to come in here, put in a little arch. Like so. And then we'll use that to connect the dot. So that looks pretty good for the text. So let's finish our sketch. And then now we're going to go up here, we're going to extrude it. We're going to go -0.25. Click OK. And then we're going to extrude this portion here to connect our letter I. Now what we're going to do is we're going to offset this. So that it starts below. So we're going to offset at 0.15, and the distance is going to be -0.1 and offset at -0.15. We're going to join that together, and now you can see how we've kind of connected the I. So that looks pretty good. I think that'll be all right. So what I'm going to be doing is putting some holes in here for some pegs with 1032 threads. I'm just going to be placing some points here so that we can put some holes. Now, these are of course all random, and you can put them anywhere you want, but you have to think about what might be hanging from this. So you don't want anything on top of each other. So for the C here, we can probably get 3 in there. The H, we can put maybe 1 here. One in the middle. Maybe 1 right here. Well, let's put it at the bottom of the R here. We can put 1 in the center of the R. Or does it might look better here. Let's put it here. 1 down here. Let's put 1 in the I. We can put 1 there. All right. That looks good. Now let's put our holes in there. We're going to select our holes, multiple, We're going to select these points. We're going to be using 1032. I like to model mine 25 thousandths. Okay, select all the different locations. Alright, that looks good. Alright, that looks pretty good. I think we have everything machined out pretty well. So let's go through the simulation here and let's take a look at all the different operations. So our facing operation, we have our drilling operation. Our adaptive clearing operation. This operation is going to take quite a long time to do. It's about 22. It's going to take about 48 minutes to get through this adaptive operation here. Then we're going to come in with a smaller diameter end mill. We're going to finish up the little spots that we couldn't get with the larger one. Going to come back with a contour, smooth all these edges up. We're going to come back with a 1/8 inch end mill in our next operation. We're going to clean up this pocket, as in this pocket as well. Then we're going to do a little adaptive just to clean up all these little tight areas that we couldn't get with the bigger end mills. And then last, we're going to come in here with a really small 1mm end mill, and we're going to clean up all these little areas in here. Alright, so let's go out to the Precision Matthews. Alright, so here we are on the Precision Matthews, and we're going to machine out another one of these jewelry racks. As you can see, what I've done is put masking tape on the fixture as well as the material, and then glued these together with super glue. I've used this method in the past and it seems to work fairly well. On the first one I did, I let it sit for about 30-45 minutes before I started machining. What happened was, because we're removing such a great amount of material, it started to kind of twist here. So what I did was I drilled through one of the peg holes into the fixture and bolted it down, and that seemed to work just fine. But for this next one, what I decided to do was clamp it and let it sit overnight before I started machining. So this one's been here 24 hours. If it has a problem, I'll just do the same thing. I'll drill through the fixture and put some bolts in there. There's quite a bit of machining involved with this, as you saw in Fusion 360, so this is going to be a long machining process. I'll highlight the video with some machining, but I won't show you the whole entire process. First operation is going to be a facing operation, so let's get started. I'm not using any coolant here so that you can kind of see what's going on the screen. This glass will get all completely cluttered with coolant if I use flood on the facing operation. So as usual, I'll just give it a little squirt of alcohol. demonstration here. We're going to be doing some 1032 thread mill. There's quite a bit of material removal here on this. Well, all right. There she is, the finished piece right there. Turned out really well. Had a little hiccup here. You can see that actually went through 1/2 inch material, 2/4 inch flat bars. That was my 1/8 inch end mill. I don't know if it slipped out of the tool holder, or I'm not sure exactly what happened, but you can see that when it raised up and tried to move over to the next position, it clipped the corner and snapped the bit. But I didn't realize it had went all the way through because I wasn't paying attention. But the 24-hour set time for the super glue really worked well, and it held everything tight. So I think that was probably the right recipe. Just let it clamp overnight. But overall, I think it turned out really well. There's a lot of these really small 1.5 millimeter end mills. I'm not real comfortable with using those because you really have to go real slow on your feed rates and your width of cuts. But this one's pretty much finished. I just gotta put the pins in there, clean it up, and should be ready to go. I think it turned out well. I've got a few more of these to go, the holidays, but I wanted to just show you. You could 3D print these if you wanted to. So we'll screw in some pegs, and it'll look really nice. Like so. And then you can hang whatever you want, jewelry, necklaces, that type of thing. Alright guys, well I guess that wraps up this video. Thanks for watching the videos. If you're new to my channel and you're just tuning in, you can click on this subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. Also click on the notification bell, and then that way when I post a new video, they'll send you a link, and if it's something you're interested in, you can stop by and check it out. As always, feel free to ask questions, make suggestions, or leave comments. Thanks for watching the videos. Thumbs up if you like the video. Please subscribe, and most importantly, be safe.